The culture is totally different from the American culture. People are more reserved. They are more quiet, I would say. And they're very polite and busy all the time. And London is a really big city, so they have tall buildings. Funny thing is that it actually kind of reminds me of Taiwan. I find the culture, the city, the buildings it's kind of similar to Taiwan. But it was still a culture shock for me because I was expecting it more to be like American culture. English food. it's interesting, I would say. It's different, very different from American food. It's interesting to see how English people, they are very organized with their life. On Sundays, always roast dinner. And whatever you eat, you always eat with gravy. You eat shepherd's pie with gravy, chicken pot pie with gravy, and like everything with gravy. And they always eat dessert with custard, hot custard. And you eat sponge cake is custard. You eat cheesecake sometimes with custard. You eat apple pie, apple crumble with custard. Yeah, I just found that very interesting. Almost everyone is the same, no matter which area I move to. English food is pretty normal compared to Taiwanese food. There's not many scary things. When I arrived in England, yeah, it was English, but I feel like it was a totally different language. Because they not only the accent, but also they say other things differently. Like the biggest difference, and it's probably something that I need to get used to, is that they call bathroom or restroom toilets. And at first for me, I was reluctant to call restroom or bathroom toilets, because in my culture, I'm sure it's the same with like American culture, or probably most culture. I saw that it's really rude to just say, "Oh, may I go to the toilet?" Yeah, but in England, really, a restroom is a toilet because their bathroom is separated from their toilet. So so you have to call it a toilet. If you say bathroom, people will think that's so weird. We don't have a bath in our toilet. Or you don't stand in the line and wait for a bus. You stand in the queue and wait for the bus. When you go to the grocery store, you don't get a shopping cart, you get a trolley. And it's not subway, it's tube. T-U-B-E. So it's not even tube, they call it tube. If you want to sound like a real British person, you have to call it tube. They call fries, like French fries, chips there, and they call chips crisps. Oh, and if you go to England, you definitely have to try fish and chips, because if you don't get fish and chips, it doesn't really count that you've been to England. Oh, another thing that people say, they don't say thank you, they say cheers. When they get off the bus, they say cheers, mate. Oh, everything's mate. You're right, mate. Cheers, mate. They don't say how are you. They say are you alright? Or they just say you're right. Yeah, and at first I thought it was weird. It's like when people ask me, "You're right?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I'm okay. Do I not look alright?" But then I figured out they were just asking me about how I'm doing. Yep. So that's definitely something to get used to. The English people, they call dinner tea. English people, they are very reserved and they're very careful with everything. So they're not very used to talking to strangers. Even when you say hi to people, just being friendly, they will look at you as like you are so weird. Like, why are you saying hi to me? It takes time to make them open up, but it's totally worth it. And yeah, with a smile, it will work. For me, it wasn't really that hard to love the people there, because I just love their culture and their history, and I just really love them. Once you earn their trust, they are just so open to you, and they're so sincere, respectful, and they trust you a lot. And I love that about them, because they are very honest with their opinions, with their thoughts. There are people from everywhere in the world in England. So something really interesting about England is their pubs. So the pubs is not like the pubs that we usually see in the States or in my country where people go dancing and then clubbing and then drink a lot of alcohol. Well, they do sell alcohol, but in England, anyone can go into a pub, like even kids. It's more like a restaurant where you hang out with your friends and have really nice food, and they have a pool table so you can play pools. And then, yeah, people sometimes get drinks there too. People usually have like families reunions, like in pubs sometimes as well. It's really funny to tell people not from England, like, oh, I went to this pub on my mission and see their facial expression. My first area was Cambridge. In that 6 weeks, I totally fell in love with that city. It's just such a beautiful city. It was exactly what I imagined England would be before I went. It's just an old but beautiful city. Everyone always dressed up so nice, so smart as well. And well, I guess because there's a lot of good university there, and everybody ride bikes. It was kind of challenging for me because in Taiwan we drive on the right side of the road. But then in England, I have to ride my bikes on the left side. And not only that, I need to learn all the hand gesture, like signals. And it was just so confusing for me. Like my companion, when we were riding bikes on the road, she's always yelling at me behind me, like telling me to switch to the left, don't ride on the right side of the road. Yeah, she's always so worried about me. It was just really interesting that the street is very narrow. And there's like a one-way road, so if you miss the turn of this at this corner, you need to go all the way around and then take the long way and then come back where you need to go. Yeah, it's a very crowded but very beautiful city. It's old, full of history, and the museum was super nice. I love it. Just a very cultured city, I would say. Hiya, you're right. I really miss you guys so much. I miss England, miss all the eras I've served in. And those eras are special to me because of you. Being able to get to know you, to hear your stories, are just it's such a wonderful thing. The things I learned the most from you all is how to love. I still miss you guys a lot. I hope everything's going well for you.